Hi guys, it's Cann from Cann here, and today I am so excited because this is the first ever podcast that I am recording for the group of Cann, and I am honoured to have a friend, I would say, of mine, John Lamerton, and John has basically been part of my mastermind group for probably about nearly a year now.
Yeah, it's getting on for a year now.
And he is full of knowledge, and he's full of lots and lots of really key information, that, especially for small business owners, even big business owners, to be fair. And the stuff that I've learned off of John literally in the last year is, there's been some really key take-homes actually since I've come home and I step away and stuff. You've also got, recently you've started your own little mission and venture with the Big Idea.
I have, yeah. We got the Big Idea podcast.
And so basically, I don't know if, John, if you want to just let the guys know a little bit about that before we kick off.
Yeah, absolutely. So we launched the Big Idea podcast back in January. I'm not sure when this is going out live, but yeah, we launched it basically to help small business owners think bigger, and that is our criteria. We're not looking for £10 million businesses to grow by 10%. We're looking to make, again, like yourselves, big changes to small business owners who perhaps don't work on their business as much as they should, and just help educate them, really. Perfect.
And I think after today's meeting, I believe that you've already got one business already involved, which is exciting stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we were able to actually get into people's businesses, and it's really been a passion of mine over the last couple of years. Obviously, I've built my own businesses, but I love getting involved with other people's. That's why I love the masterminds and sort of the local meetings we've had. Just fantastic to actually dive into someone else's business, even if it's only for an hour or two, and just think, well, get that helicopter view. Do you know what I mean? And to see, well, actually, I know exactly. Put my finger on what you need to do to make that change in your business.
So you mentioned briefly there that you've had a couple of successful businesses, and I know personally that you are very lucky that you've got a business that sort of runs itself without you having to really do much anymore. Do you want to just let the guys know maybe a bit more about the businesses that you've got?
Yeah, so the main businesses we focus on now, two main sectors, which is sports betting and property. So property's a new one for us. We kind of launched our first property company last year. And before that, we've worked in the sports betting sector. We've got, I think, 4 websites now in the sports betting sector. And over the course of about the last 5 years, we've really worked on getting the team in place, the systems, the processes in place, so that we can actually step back from that business. So it doesn't require us to be there on a day-to-day basis. We can work on that business. We're not doing the do. I mean, it's one of the sites we own is related to horse racing. Now, I know nothing about horses.
Okay.
So I cannot get involved in the day-to-day running of that website. If you want me to provide a horse racing tip for the 340 at Kempton, I will get my dartboard out. That I physically can't do the do.
To be fair, with that shot a minute ago, I wouldn't want to hit the dartboard, John.
As I explained at the time, I have recently had shoulder surgery, and get my excuses in quickly, really.
Perfect. So, I mean, basically, the key on this podcast, so I thought about the different ways that I could present and bring this podcast to the world. And what I've really discovered recently is that I definitely, well, obviously about change and stuff, but it's all about vision, it's all about goals. Yeah. And I'm constantly banging the drum about getting your vision board done, what are your goals and stuff. So a lot of the questions I've sent you are very geared around goals and vision. So I'm going to kick off now with when did you first achieve a goal? What was that goal and how did it make you feel?
No, I was thinking about this because the first real goal that I can remember achieving was to leave the day job. I was trying to think back earlier than that, back to when I was a kid, but for me that wasn't a goal. May have had ambitions, may have had dreams, but that was the first goal that I really said, well, actually, I want to give you a bit of backstory here. We're going back to around 2000, 2001. I was working as a civil servant and I absolutely hated my job, like with a passion. I wanted out. I think I actually launched my business on the Monday of the second week of my new job, because I just knew, literally 1 week of training, no, I don't want to be doing this. And so I launched the business. As far as go, this was like a real biggie. It was kind of go from earning nothing to earning enough to go full time on it. Now, I launched at the time an internet marketing company.
Okay.
I knew nothing about marketing. I knew nothing about the internet. I didn't even own a computer.
Okay.
So you can kind of see I didn't even have access to the internet. Nothing. You know, to set a goal like that to me was huge. So how am I going to make a website, get traffic to it, monetize it? But for me, it's like, right, I'm a bloke. Mm-hmm. So I really, really wanted it. My desire to do that was very high. So all I had to do was set the goal. And to me, that was a simple, well, I do this, then I do this, then I do that. It was a plan. It was a step-by-step plan that if I did it in the right order, it would get me there. Even if, you know, the simple in inverted commas there, plan was to buy a computer, get internet access, learn web design, learn marketing, learn copywriting, learn networking, and then work 30-hour weeks on top of the day job for 18 months. You know, that for me was a scary goal. And I remember, I think I was a little bit scared at the beginning that how the hell am I going to learn all this? Mm-hmm. But then actually achieving it was such elation to the point that I've actually still got a little anchor, a little reminder on my desk.
Perfect.
I've got a little calendar there and it's got the date.
Yeah.
It's actually set in stone to the date, the last day I had a real job.
Nice.
31st of December 2001.
So when you set that goal, how did your stomach and you mentioned that you were a bit scared and a bit nervous. Was there any excitement in there as well?
I don't think it was excitement at the time. It was ambition. No, that's not the right word. Determination.
Okay.
It was absolute determination of I have to achieve this. Mm-hmm. You know, for me, I wanted to leave the day job. I had to get out. So for me, the only other alternative was to win the lottery. Mm-hmm. So I bought lottery tickets. That didn't work. Every week, you know, I started entering competitions on the internet to try and win money. Okay. So that I didn't have to go to work. Literally, I would spend all weekend entering competitions to try and win 10 grand.
Wow.
So that I wouldn't have to go to work on Monday.
Wow.
And sure enough, I didn't win any of them.
Yeah.
But that did actually spawn a business idea. Uh-huh. And so my first real website that actually made any money was doing freebies and competitions. Okay. So by entering these competitions and discovering these competition websites, I actually stumbled across a business idea. Okay. And it just kind of flew from there, really.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So obviously in life we're thrown challenges all the time, and you know there's small challenges, there's big challenges. So what would you say has been your biggest challenge to date, and how did you overcome that?
My biggest challenge, I would say, was, and originally I was going to say again, it was achieving that goal, because that was, you know, insurmountable at the beginning. But actually, if you fast forward just a couple of years from then, we were actually having tremendous success. We were doing really, really well, and I thought I had the Midas touch. Okay. You know, I thought literally everything I touched turned to gold. Brilliant. You know, all I've got to do is have an idea, knock a website up, and it'll be earning 10 grand a month within 3 months. And it got to the stage whereby, I think this is going back to now, probably 2004. And at the time we had 3 members of staff. So myself, Jason, who's actually still with us now. Obviously most guys will know from my podcast group. Yeah. Jason from the podcast. And we also had Ryan, who was our techie. He helped build the websites. But we went from a nice small close-knit team of 3 to a nice small close-knit team of 15 in about 3 months. Okay. Over 2 offices. Okay. And it all stemmed from me living someone else's dream. Mm-hmm. Because the people I was hanging around with at the time were uber competitive, and there was a lot of money to be made. You know, if you weren't making 100 grand a month, you were nobody. Right, okay. And these guys all wanted the private jets and the skyscrapers and the boats. Right. And, you know, to be making £1 million a year easily, you know, after after tax.
Yeah. Wow.
And I thought I wanted that because, well, everyone else wants it.
Mm-hmm.
Why not me? You know, the fact that I was really, really happy. You know, look at where I was 3 years earlier.
Yeah.
I was this civil servant earning 12 grand a year who just wanted to leave his day job and work for himself.
Yeah.
To the guy who 3 years later suddenly isn't happy unless he's doing 100 grand a month.
Wow, that's a change.
And employing people, and you know, I wanted to be, well, I thought I wanted to be the CEO who would waltz into the Lamerton skyscraper, you know, like Trump Towers in the States, waltz in, you know, 100 staff, you know, all catering to my every whim. Meanwhile, I'm obviously soaking it up on a beach in Barbados. It was real, you know, all the spammy kind of, you know, get rich quick brochures that you get on the website. That you got this lovely photo of this perfect lifestyle. Yeah, I was chasing that, and it got to say for a while, I just hated that. The relationships I had with my family, my friends, all suffered. My health suffered tremendously to the point whereby, I mean, it was like nearly nervous exhaustion, you know, nervous breakdown territory.
Right. Okay.
We'd gone from making, you know, at one time we were making about 25 grand a month to losing 10 grand a month, and you can't keep sustaining that for so long. So it was almost to the point of bankruptcy. And when I say overcome that challenge, the only way we overcame it was to survive.
Yeah.
And the only way I survived that was to make really, really difficult decisions.
Okay.
So, you know, I had to go in one day and literally sack half the workforce, including family members. You know, you go in and say, you know, sorry, you don't have a job now, making you redundant.
And how was that?
That was tough. That really impacted me for several years. That really affected me because, yeah, that was August 2006 that we actually made, 6 people redundant in one day. And I don't think I hired anyone for another 7 years.
Okay.
You know, it affected me that much that I thought I don't want to hire anyone else because I never want to have to sack anyone else again.
And was that the first time you've ever had to sack anybody as well?
Yes, it was. We'd had a few leave organically.
But in your previous jobs, you'd never had that role?
No, I'd never had the responsibility at civil service or anything like that.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was my first experience of it, and it was literally, sorry guys, there's no money left. You know, it's a choice of you either leave or I lose my house. Yeah. And, you know, I nearly lost the house anyway.
Yeah, right.
But, you know...
So when you say about, obviously, because nearly losing your house as well, so that must have, like you say, put a lot of strain and pressure on, you know, your family environment and stuff. I mean...
Oh, it was. I mean, we were trying for kids at the time and were wondering why it wasn't happening. And lo and behold, there's this huge amount of stress there. You know, I remember coming out in a rash all over my face, all over my arms. Went to the doctor and he said, "Are you stressed?" Yeah, just a little bit. You know, sort of explains it. Yeah, I don't know the life history. Just I'll tick the box to say you're stressed.
And is there anything that you found then when you were in that moment that helped to? Obviously, I know letting go of people because you can afford them, but was there some triggers or something that, if you look back at that moment?
There was, I think it was just when there was light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay.
I think, you know, it was really, really tough for probably 6 months. And, you know, it was touch and go whether we were going to go under, whether I was going to lose the house. Again, I think determination come into it. Where I was so determined before I was going to leave the day job and I was going to do this. I was, again, so determined I was not going to lose the house. I was not going to let this business go under. So, yeah, if that means I've got to work for free for 6 months, that's what I'll do. If it means I've got to max out credit cards and overdrafts, that's what I'll do. If it means I've got to swallow my pride and go and stack shelves at McDonald's, no. McDonald's don't have shelves.
They do, they have the little shelves that you put the burgers on.
Yeah, you can either stack shelves at Tesco or flip burgers at McDonald's. Yeah. Then I would have done that. You know, I would have done whatever was needed to survive. I mean, it was, we had that little light at the end of the tunnel whereby, you know, cash flow got better.
Okay.
We'd gone from, well, there's 6 grand left in the overdraft. I've got a 15 grand VAT bill and a 10 grand payroll. What the hell do I do? To, well, actually, there's £2,000 of actual money, our money, in the bank, and there's still a 15 grand VAT bill. You know, it got a little better and then a little better, and eventually we got our heads above water, and we ended up actually selling the business literally 6 months later, we made like £120,000 out of it.
Oh wow! Okay.
So we'd gone from literally the lows of we're going to lose everything to actually clean slate. Clean break. Let's get out.
And did you find that when you sold that business, did you also let go of a lot of that emotional baggage that you may have had attached to that business at the time?
Yeah, I think so. It was almost the end of an era, end of a chapter.
Yeah.
You know, because that was the first site I'd launched. So that freebies competition site I mentioned, that was that business.
Yeah.
And we sold that business, February 2007, and it wasn't the end of our worries by any chance, because all of a sudden we had no cash coming in.
Yeah.
Yes, we got 100 grand sat in the bank. Hooray! That's brilliant.
Yeah.
But we've still got the 10 grand a month payroll to meet.
Yeah.
And now we've got no income to be able to do that, so we had to replace the income. And we also got hit about 3 or 4 months later with a massive bill.
From Her Majesty?
No, it was from the offices. So we'd leased offices, and we'd managed to exercise our breakout clause.
Oh, okay.
And say, cool, we can get out. That's brilliant. And then they sent us a nice bill for £89,000 to basically completely refurbish the building. We'd only been in there like 2 years.
Right, okay.
And they kind of said, all this stuff that should have been done in the 70s, with the roof and the leaking asbestos stuff, you can fix that.
Right, okay.
So, we got solicitors involved. We eventually managed to sort of do a lot of the work ourselves, get the building. It cost us about 10 grand to get out, but it was, again, scary.
But another lesson learned, I would have thought, from that as well. So obviously we covered the challenges, or the biggest challenge. So on the flip of a challenge, there's obviously successes, and there's highlights of your life. What would you say to date? I mean, there's probably many of them, John. But what's the one that sticks in your mind, the biggest success today?
For me, the biggest success I've had is leaving the day job, because I think about the bell curve of the growth that we've had.
Mm-hmm.
Was it at its greatest in those first 18 months? Yeah, we've had spectacular growth in the last 3, 4, 5 years, but to actually go from naught to, so we went from naught to £13.51. It took me 9 months.
Okay.
So it took me 9 months to earn any money at all. And so I knew nothing about the internet, nothing about marketing.
Yeah.
Literally £13.51. 9 months later, I'd given up the day job. Mm-hmm. So I was earning enough to live full time. So from £13.51 to £3 grand a month in 9 months.
Okay.
That for me is I knew nothing. I had no money, no experience, no contacts, and that for me just eclipses anything I've achieved since.
Perfect.
Because none of what I've achieved now would be possible without that.
Even the skydive.
Exactly. If I hadn't got started, I wouldn't be stood here now.
Yeah,
if I hadn't got started, I'd maybe have got a promotion.
So you're saying this might be one of the most successful points of your life so far, this podcast today?
Oh, and it's a highlight. It is definitely.
Perfect. I thought it might be. So what?
It's downhill from here now, isn't it?
To dive a little bit. That's it. You'll be ringing me tomorrow, just going no. Right, personal life. Just going to delve a little bit deeper into there a second. So, what 3 things? And I just think I think everybody needs to know this. It's just like, I don't think as a human race we're grateful enough on a daily basis for things that we have. I don't think we do. As a family, we've got these little hearts that we hold every morning now, and we say, I'm happy. Well, Charlie, who's 3, says, I'm happy because I'm going to preschool. Brilliant. Yeah. But I'm always, I'm sort of grateful for, what you've got around you. So what would you say the 3 things you're most grateful for your personal life would be?
Sure. So apart from obviously Plymouth Argyle, who, I've got a fantastic replay against Liverpool coming up. I don't know if I've mentioned that at all today.
A few times, mate.
Okay. Yeah. But now for me, the main thing I'm thankful for is my health. I do not take my health for granted. I'm 40 this year. My sister died when she was 35.
Okay.
So she never got to be 40. Mm-hmm. So I know that you need to live life rather than waiting for someday, because everyone waits for someday. Someday I'll do that.
Yeah.
I'd like to go to Australia one day. Well, do it.
Yeah.
One of my mentors once said to me, if you don't look after your health, you'll have nowhere to live.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't stand with that. And so what happened with my sister was completely unexpected.
Right. Okay.
She was 11 years older than me, so I'm now 4 years older than she'll ever be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
wow.
People say to me, "Oh, you're 40 this year. Are you worried?" No, not at all.
No.
I can tell you of at least 3 people I know who would love to be 40.
Okay. Perfect. So that's one. Have you got any more?
Family. I mean, it's a cliche, isn't it? But they are my North Star, my why. I think we talked earlier about when I was following someone else's dream.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was pre-kids.
Yeah.
And I think literally it was almost the minute that I had kids, it was like, I get it now.
Yeah, yeah.
This is what I'm meant to be doing. This is what life's all about.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was like a light bulb went on. They are my rock. Last year I went into summer mode.
Yes, indeed you did.
And it was literally a case of we got back from holiday and it was still school summer holidays, and I just I'll work a bit here, schedule some time out. We're off to the beach.
Mm-hmm.
We're off to the adventure park. We're off to the theme park.
Amazing.
And we do that every week now. So that's a habit we started in September. I said, look, every Friday afternoon, family day.
Yeah.
So I finish work at midday on a Friday. I then spend 3 hours with Sarah, my wife.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually get some quality time, just the two of us, without the children. Then we both go and pick the children up, and we do something. We go bowling, we go to the cinema, we go swimming.
Who's the best bowler?
Well, it's obviously me, isn't it? I mean, pre-shoulder injury, it was me. I don't know about that.
Even with the barriers, you have to have the barriers up, or
and the rollers. Yeah. Push it up.
Perfect. So what's number 3 then?
It's to be here physically. I've got a sports betting business, so I'm dealing with odds all day long. And I did a bit of research on this when you asked me this question.
Okay.
The chances of being born is 1 in 400 trillion.
Wow. Okay.
So that's just the odds of being born, let alone lasting 40 years and being able to talk to you today. Planet Earth is 4.5 billion years old.
Okay.
And humans have only been here for about 160,000 or so of those years, and I've had 39 of those. So I don't know how many more I'm going to get. So I'm just going to make the most of what I've got.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's going to look good in the show notes as well. So like I'm learning educational here, guys. It's
That's
great.
What I'm here for. Every day's a school day.
It is. So what would you say are so we've obviously talked about your personal gratitude and what you're grateful for, but how about business then, in your professional life? What are the 3 things you're grateful there?
The main one for me is freedom. And so we talked about that a little bit, about having my why, my North Star. As family, what's important to me is that freedom. I wrote down once, I was on a course, and I wrote down, you had to write down your ultimate job description. And I wrote down to do what I want, where I want, when I want, how I want, if I want.
Perfect.
And that, to me, just sums up how I want to live my life.
Uh-huh.
And my business enables me to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Which that kind of leads me on to the second thing, which I wouldn't have that freedom without a good team behind me.
Mm-hmm.
They pick up the slack that I leave. I breeze into the office.
You're not a slacker, are you, John?
No, I do. I'm not a slacker, but I breeze into the office. I create chaos. I go, right, guys, we're going to do this massive 25-step sales campaign. I want you to do the emails, you to do the direct mail. We're going to do social media. We're going to do follow-ups. We're going to do phone calls. We're going to redesign the website. We're going to have live chat. Blah blah blah. We're going to do this, we're going to that, and then walk away, and then just leave them to it. But I've got a really, really good team that I can trust to do that. I know actually if I say to one of the guys, right, I need you to do a Facebook Live video today on this. These are the bullet points I need to get across. Right, can you put together a magazine article? Can you do 7 sales emails? Can you do a teaser promo?
Mm-hmm.
It gets done, and it gets done really, really well.
Perfect.
So many people are anal about, well, nobody can do it as good as me.
Yeah.
And that may be true, but
so have you trained them to be like that, or they've learned that you've employed them to be that?
I think I've just employed good people.
Perfect.
I mean, I'd love to take all the credit and say no, I've personally trained them up, but obviously yes, we've trained them, but you can only work. You can only work with what you've got.
Yeah.
And if you've got poor people who aren't willing to learn, and we've had a few of them over the years, they're not with us anymore. It's tough. We've hired people who we've tried to educate, we've tried to get working our way. Hasn't worked out. So they've gone their own ways, and then we've got people in to replace them. And within, I would say, a couple of weeks, whether you've got a good superstar, or whether you've got someone who is a bit of a, me too, I'm only here for the paycheck. Oh look, it's time for me to clock off now and go home. Because I've been a clock watcher. I was a civil servant.
I'd say, to be fair, like, well, you cover the team. This is a shout out to my team as well. If you're listening, I'm grateful for you guys, because without you doing what you can do, then obviously I can't stand here in front of this microphone with you.
Exactly.
On a lovely sunny, not so much sunny afternoon.
It's snowy today.
So what's the third one then, John?
Okay. Well, just nothing. If my team are listening, get back to work. The third one for me is a strange one, and I didn't expect to be writing this down.
Okay.
I was trying to think of answers that weren't cliches and answers that were true, really. And for me, this one is true. It's Google.
Okay.
And you should see some of the abuse I've given Google over the years. But they have provided me with millions of pounds worth of free customers over the last kind of 17 years. I've paid them well over $1 million for some more. But without Google, far, far fewer people would know about me and my business. They also gave me a really, really good kick up the arse in 2012 when they moved the goalposts, and they literally almost killed my business overnight. Literally, they changed their algorithm, and whereby I think at one point we were getting 10,000 people a month coming into one particular website. That went from 10,000 to 300.
Right.
Overnight.
Wow.
So we're like, oh, crikey, what do we do?
Yeah.
But without that kick up the arse, I wouldn't have actually been forced to start learning again. We were in a plateau, because all we did was SEO. We just we'll rank websites on Google. They get lots of traffic in. We send the traffic off to merchants, to affiliates, and we get paid. Hooray, happy days. We were growing, but it was a bit of a plateau. And they broke me out of that by actually giving me that short, sharp shock of, now we're taking all that free traffic away from you now. You go figure out how to run your business some other way.
Did that spur you to start learning again, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. Because it was literally, we're talking a lot in our podcast now about marketing pillars. Well, I had one marketing pillar. It was SEO, and look, it's crumbling now, it's falling apart, and my building has just fallen down. So I had to rebuild it with at least 4 little pillars, so it would hold the roof up, keep the rain out. And it did. It spurred me on. I mean, they've actually helped me with the learning, because they then give me the entire knowledge of the entire human race, every piece of knowledge I could randomly wish to put my fingers on, literally 2 taps away, via smartphone. So thank you, Larry. Thank you, Sergey, for that. Sorry for the abuse I've given you, particularly Matt Cutts. I'd like to apologise to Matt Cutts. I've given him a lot of abuse over the years.
Cool. So go. Obviously, again, the podcast is keyed around goals and visions and habits as well. And I would say most or all successful people have daily rituals or daily habits, and I know you certainly have, because I remember speaking to you about one, and I'm sure it's going to get mentioned in a minute. So go on then, John, let us know what your daily rituals are.
Cool. I mean, for me, success, both in business and in life, isn't about what you do today. It's about what you do every day. And for me, every day is almost the same. And that makes it that completely habitual. It's automatic. It happens on autopilot. I don't need to think about it. So for me, it starts with a juice. So, I'm into my fruit and vegetable juice. I'm staring at it. What is that, an orange and mint juice off camera here at the moment?
It's probably defrosted by now.
It should have done. What is this concoction now?
Orange and mint.
Orange and mint.
Cheers. Do you want to try some?
I'll try a little sip,
Go on. We're just, for the people who are just listening, we've just opened up the juice that that I bought this morning from the freezer that's defrosted.
Is there lime in that?
God, blimey, limey!
That's quite tangy, isn't it?
That cleans you up.
That wakes you up. But for me, that's the fuel I need, because I know, I started juicing about 4 years ago now, and for me, it's a life hack. It's how can I get as many nutrients as possible into me as easy as possible. And I remember, because everyone knows, you need to eat more fruit and veg. That's how you get healthy. But if you've ever sat there staring at a stick of celery, thinking, how am I going to get that inside here when I can't stand the taste of it? I remember once I was prepping a venison stew. I was chopping this celery up, and I thought, oh, I'll taste that. Well, that was it. I was gagging. It's disgusting. Whereas now, celery, I can just chop that in the juicer with some broccoli stem, some cucumber,
lime, maybe.
Not so much lime as you put in that juice, I'll tell you. But for me, that's the fuel that gives me what I need to get through the day.
Perfect.
From there, I do my one thing.
Okay.
So this is, we talked about this in our podcast in episode 7, I think it was, which is literally, what is the one thing that enables you to beat the day? So what's the one thing that actually moves your business forward? It's not checking email. It's not dicking around on Facebook looking at cat videos. It's, if you're in a sales business, it's picking up the phone and ringing 5 people.
Yeah.
It's writing that sales letter. It's putting together a sales campaign. It's hiring superstars. It's doing the one thing that actually, at least an hour a day. I normally do it in kind of, excuse me, I'm going to do it in hour-long chunks. So I'll kind of work, hour to 90-minute chunks. I'll do kind of 9 to 9:30, 9 to 10:30. I'll do one thing, then I'll head off and I'll do the gym. So I'll exercise as another routine every day. Again, like I said earlier, if you're not fit and healthy, you're going to have nowhere to live.
Yeah.
Come back, probably do another hour, then I'll have lunch, then I'll maybe do a 2-hour session. But it's all doing the one thing. I don't move on to anything else. I've got a daily planner, and I put my one thing at the top. I draw a line underneath it, and I do not pass that line until my one thing's done.
Do not pass go.
Yeah, do not pass go. Do not collect £200.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, so then you go and do your exercise.
Yep. And then finally I do other stuff.
Okay.
So this is when actually, checking emails comes in, and this is where actually, I do need to make a couple of phone calls, and there's some paperwork that needs doing. All the day-to-day stuff that everyone does normally in their business, but I've already beaten the day because I've got my body full of nutrients.
Yeah.
I've done one thing that is really going to move my business forward.
Yeah.
And I've gone and done some exercise. So I've got the endorphins going. So now, and this is probably 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm not at my peak energy state now.
No.
I've spent that. No, I'll just do the other stuff now.
Yeah.
I'll do the stuff that doesn't really move the business forward, but keeps it running, keeps it working.
Yeah.
From then on, it's family time. So let's go pick the kids up, come back, cook them tea, spend some time with them. Actual quality time with them.
Yeah.
My 7-year-old has started coming for a walk with me now.
Okay.
In the evenings, which is amazing, because you think you know someone, and then you spend an hour with them walking, and you find out you don't know them at all.
Wow.
I mean, the lessons I could tell you about Pokemon right now.
Yeah.
Oh dear, honestly, the kid is obsessed with it. Can we talk about something else, anything else? Football. Let me tell you about when I went to Liverpool at the weekend. No, I don't want to know that. Do you know what a Squirtle is? Oh God. But it's, we are so close now.
Yeah.
Just as a result of actually being present. We've all, seen people do it. I've been guilty of it at times. You're with the kids. I'm doing the old inverted commas there. But you've got your phone out and you're checking emails. Yeah, I'm with you kids. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's lovely. Yeah, nice. Get down. Stop killing them.
Yeah. Well, I'm guilty of that, to be fair, John.
But actually saying no. Well, I stop work at 3. I pick the kids up, and then I don't check emails.
Okay.
It is tough at times because you quite often think, I'm waiting for an answer on my proposal. I'm waiting for this to come in. It is difficult not to, but I try and just keep that completely separate. Time with the kids. Out with walk the dog, come back, kids bath, in bed, then spend some time with Sarah, watch maybe an hour of Netflix, something like that, and then it's bedtime. It's shut off routine, and this is, I know, the bit we've talked about before, where I head to the sauna. So when we had an extension built on our house last year, no, the year before now, and we had a compromise because Sarah said to me, I want a walk-in wardrobe. And I then had to Google what a walk-in wardrobe was. And it transpires that it's a room, but it's not for people, it's just for shoes and bags. So I have no idea what that was, but she was adamant that she wanted one of these rooms just for shoes and bags.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suggested she got rid of some of the shoes and bags, but that apparently was not an option. So I said, well, okay, you can have your room for your shoes and your bags. I want a sauna. Because I discovered saunas. Yeah, I'd been to the gym and it's like, oh, do a bit of a workout, have a sauna. And I discovered that when I went to the sauna after a workout, it was really, really relaxing and really enjoyable. And it was one summer, I think it was the summer before we had this extension built. It was really, really hot. It was a fantastically hot day. And I went to the gym and I was a little bit lethargic and I thought, can't be asked to actually get on the treadmill today. Can't be asked to lift anyways. I know. I'll just go and sit in the sauna. So literally, I just did no exercise. I just went and sat in the sauna for like an hour. I just did, not completely for an hour, but in and out, cold and heat. Oh my God! I mean, the headspace it just freed up was tremendous, and I just remember coming out there feeling so good.
Yeah.
And it just became a ritual that I went to the gym almost just to use the sauna 3 times a week, and then over a period of time, I noticed that I wasn't getting ill.
Okay.
I was feeling so much better. My skin was so much better than it had ever been. And I was making better decisions at work. I was more able to focus. I could go into a sauna with a problem.
Yeah.
And I'd come out with the answer. And it was like, geez, I remember one particular issue we were having at the time. This was summer, about 2 years ago. And I'd been on holiday. So I'd had 2 weeks complete digital detox, and then straight back at work. I went to a training course, and we came up with loads of different ideas, ways we were going to grow the business. And we had this one particular thing where we were going to do a direct mail campaign, but I didn't have any addresses for any of the people on our database. Oh my God, what can I do? How can we get around this? And literally, I'd spent 2 days thinking about this, could not come up with an answer. Went in the sauna, and I didn't even know that I was going in to think about this. But I went in the sauna, sat down. Just ask them for the address. So, whoa, where did that come from?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just ask them for the address. Oh yeah, we could actually send them something. So, well, give us your address and we'll send you a magazine. Oh my God, that's it. We'll just ask them for the address, and it was just, And from now on, or from then on rather, it's become a daily ritual, and I just find it's like a reboot for me now.
Yeah.
So I go in the sauna and I think of it like you got a laptop. And we've all got these laptops with about 37 browser windows open. And for me, it's just like going into the sauna is just like boom, 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 shutting down every browser and then opening one up.
Okay.
And we all know how more efficient your computer works when you've only got one tab open. And for me, the sauna does that to my mind. It relaxes the body and it just preps me for sleep.
Okay.
I literally go to the sauna I normally go into the sauna 2 hours before I want to go to sleep. And I'm out like a light every night because my mind is empty.
Yeah.
Sarah will tell me my mind's empty all the time, but
Perfect. So, what? One thing I did, like I said earlier, I bang on about the vision board, and I saw your vision board today. And you've already ticked one of your visions off with regards to doing the podcast, which is amazing. And guys, you should go and check out John's podcast. I'm sure we'll put something in the show notes and stuff for that, John.
Cool, yeah.
But what is your vision for the future?
My vision is not to forget that job description that I mentioned earlier, because I know what happened when I strayed away from the vision that I want. So the vision I want is to work when I want, where I want, how I want, doing what I want, if I want. I struggled with this at some point because in our contracts for our company, I've stated we are an ambitious lifestyle company. So everyone works from home, choose your own hours, etc. But the word ambition is in there. We are ambitious.
Yeah.
So I also want to balance that job description with constant, never-ending improvement. I always want more, but not at the expense of my lifestyle.
Yeah.
If it means, there's always a price to pay. And if that price is not seeing my kids for 3 days, I may not be willing to pay that price. If it's not seeing them for 3 weeks, I'm not willing to pay that price.
Yeah.
I'm here today in Bristol. I'm 150 miles from home.
Yeah.
but I'll be home tonight in time for bedtime.
Yeah.
I will see the kids today. I saw them in the morning. You know, that's fine. But when it comes to overnight stays, not sure if that is. For me, it's not about working harder. It's not doing stuff that I want someday. It's, you know, everything that I want that I don't already have has a timescale on it, and it's got a plan of action that's going to get me there. So that's my vision, I think, is having that goal of, if I want something, I'm not going to put it off indefinitely. I'm going to say, that's got a timescale, even if that's 20 years or 40 years. Yeah. Or, you know, I was listening to a podcast the other day that said we're all going to live to 120, so who's to say we can't set 70-year goals?
Yeah, wow. Wow. Okay, so if you could offer the listeners 3 tips to lead a happy life, because you're a happy chap. You've got things going on, and you know you can tell by your aura that you are in a good place. Yeah. So what are the 3 tips that you could offer our listeners to lead a happy life?
That's really interesting, because you said about an aura, and I've always thought, you know, oh, woo woo, you know, it's all fluffy. And I went to the chiropractor the other day, and he said, "You're always so happy." He said, "You don't have any stress in your life." I was like, "Oh, I don't know." And apparently he said the same, because my wife goes to the same chiropractor. He said, John's in a really good place, isn't he? I was like, "Jesus, is it that obvious?"
It might be the light over your head as well at the moment.
That's just the thinning hair. That's what that is. So 3 tips for a happier life. Now, this first one I heard when I was on holiday in France last summer, I think. And it's 2 words, and it was just so impactful for me, because I used to suffer, or I thought I suffered, with low self-confidence. And the 2 words are go first.
Okay.
And as soon as I heard that, it just resonated with me. I have no idea why, because at the time I didn't know what this lady meant by go first. But what she was saying was, actually, if you're walking past someone in the street and you want them to smile at you, go first. Smile at them first. If you smile, someone else will smile. If you want to talk to somebody, go talk to them. Go first. But for me also, I used to struggle. You know, I'd go to meetings and I'd go to sort of training courses, and you know, my nightmare was someone saying, "Right, we need a volunteer," and just going to avoid. Actually now, I'm there. I'm going first. You know, who went first in the mastermind meeting today?
There
you go. See, it's easier, because I used to spend most of the day otherwise sat there going, "What am I going to say? What am I going to do? Oh my God, what if they ask me this?" Like, no, just get it over and done with.
Yeah.
Just go first.
Perfect.
You know, second one is slow down. You know, people just rush about too much. I mean, I nearly wiped out a motorcyclist actually on the way here today.
Wow.
Because I was driving up the M5. I was in the outside lane. I wasn't slowing down, I must say. I was obviously I was driving well within the speed limit. Speed limit is 85, isn't it? Yeah. And then, there's a motorcyclist driving right up my behind.
Yes.
So I thought, well, no worries, I'll let him pass. He's obviously in a rather more of a hurry than I am. So as I went to go in the inside lane, he decided to undertake me. And I so quickly swerved back out into the outside lane, and he went around me and then zoomed off. So I'm hoping he made it where I think he was going today, but he very nearly didn't.
Right.
And that, again, just serves as a reminder that life is short. And it's meant to be enjoyed. Yeah. You know, I mean, there's so many people, like on the drive up here, you see it. People who are just angrily gripping that steering wheel, trying to go 5 miles an hour faster than someone else, so that they can get where they want to get to, maybe 3 minutes earlier. You know, there's a fantastic story about a guy, I think it might be Derek Sivers, who used to ride to work alongside the coast at San Francisco, and he was talking about he used to do this ride, and it used to take him 45 minutes, and he was determined to get it under 41 minutes.
Okay. And
so he'd buy all the gear, so he was lycra'd up and he was streamlined, and he'd do his training and all that, and he got it down to, I think he said, 42 minutes. And he said, no matter how hard I tried, I could not get it under 40 minutes. And he said, so I gave up. And he said, and the next day I just strode along this cycle path, and I was just looking around at the view, and it's a gorgeous view. He said, they've got the bay here, He said, "You're at the bridge. It was a glorious sunny day. There's all these lovely ladies on bikes smiling at me. Oh, brilliant." And he said, I got to the end of the path and looked at my timer. Oh, 46 minutes. He said, I was literally purple in the face, dripping with sweat.
Yeah.
Hated the run, and I was saving 4 minutes.
Yeah.
He said, so slow down, enjoy life.
Cool.
And finally stop comparing yourself with others. It's something that I still struggle with. I think it's a natural thing to look at others and think, I want what they've got, or I'm jealous of what they've got. But you don't know what their story is. You don't know what page of the story they're on. You could be on page 1 and they're on page 370.
Yeah.
You don't know what their struggles have been to get there. You don't know what sacrifices, what they've had to pay. So focus on yourself. It's been an interesting thing with one of our businesses is, we had a conversation once with someone. He was a kid basically. He was like 19 years old. We were at a networking event, and he said to me, "How much money do you make?" And I was, "Whoa, that's not really any of your business." He said, "Oh, well, just tell me how much do you make?" I said, "No, I'm not going to tell you." And he was adamant. He wanted to know how much money I was making. And I said to him at the time, "What difference does it make to your business how much money I make?" And he said, "Well, just tell me, is it more or less than 40 grand a month?" And I said, "Yes, it is more or less than 40 grand a month." And he got rather angry. He said, "Well, are you going to tell me?" I said, "No, I'm not going to tell you." I said, "It does not affect your business how much I earn. The only thing that affects how much you earn is how much you put into your business. So I don't care what our competitors do. Otherwise you're completely focused on, or you're reactive to your competitors.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they've slashed their prices. We need to slash our prices. No, they've slashed their prices. They've done that because they're panicking.
Yeah.
Just focus on your own game.
Okay. Cool. So, if our listeners would like to reach out and say hi and basically find out a little bit more about you, John, where can they come and find you?
Well, we are all over the internet. Just search for Big Idea Podcast. We are on iTunes. We're on Stitcher, YouTube. We're even on Google. We've got a private Facebook group, which we record the podcast episodes live on every Monday lunchtime. We're also recording this one for here. Hello, guys. The live Facebook podcast episodes are released every Monday. So that is, I think, bigidea.co.uk/Facebook.
Okay.
And then it's released on all other platforms every Wednesday. And we talk small business, we talk marketing.
Perfect. So there is one more question I was going to ask you.
Not on my script. There
isn't.
That's the end. Yeah.
No, I know.
Thank you for listening, guys.
Goodbye.
So,
it's something that I listened to today on Lewis Howes' podcast. I don't know if you listen to Lewis Howes, but really inspirational stuff that he people he's interviewing, and like Tony Robbins and Tony Robbins was the main one that I've listened to recently. But one question he definitely throws at the end, which gets me, is like, so it's the last day of your life, okay, and nothing that you've ever written or posted or recorded is there, okay, and then your grandchildren comes up to you and hands you a piece of paper and says, "Grandad, what are the 3 things that I need to know about life?"
Okay, that is a good question. You are going to have a lot of silence at the end of your podcast.
That's fine.
3 things that you need to remember. Live your life. So, as we talked about earlier, life is to be enjoyed in the moment. Don't live it in the past. Don't live it in the future. So many people are anxious about the past. They're worried about the future. Just live in the present. Smile more.
Okay.
Yeah. Be happy. And have fun. Because that is what it's all about. And anyone who knows any of our businesses know we like to have fun.
Perfect.
Yeah.
John, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much.
No, thank you, mate. Really enjoyed it.
Seriously. It's been a great honour to have you on the podcast. And none of the questions were too tricky. Obviously, the last one was thrown on you, and it was great answers. And guys, so yeah, if anyone's still watching, or if you are watching, this is John. Come and say hello. He's more than willing to say hello back as well. Yeah. He's not going to hide from you. Anyone listening on the podcast, go and see John at Big Idea Podcast. This guy has got a wealth of knowledge, seriously, and he's happy to share. So if you've got any questions or whatever, then just go and hook up with John. And that's it, guys. Thanks a lot for listening to the first podcast, and I will talk to you soon.
Cool. Bye-bye.
Bye.